questions?
Lights, camera, action.
All right, away we go. I'm Matt Kerner. Here's my friend of how long? 15, 16 years? Ed Tuzman. And we were talking about something the other day, and I told him what we were doing with the Poor People's Campaign to address all the recent deaths in the regional jail system. And it turned out that Ed had actually witnessed one of those deaths through neglect while in, was it Central Regional Jail? North Central?
Yeah.
So I'm just going to let Ed just kind of tell you off the top of his head what happened. When did this happen?
It was late April, maybe beginning of May 2018.
Okay.
North Central Regional in Douglas County.
Yeah. Tell us what happened.
Well, this guy that was, I still can't think of his name, and I'm trying to dig up the name, and,
That's
still, he had come back from medical. I know he was complaining about back pains, and he wasn't able to sleep. It was hurting real bad. And they finally took him to medical in the jail, and an hour or so passed, and he came back. And basically all they did for him was tell him to just relax and take it easy and drink a lot of water. And the water there, I wouldn't feed to a dog. I mean, it's out of the sinks in your cell, close to the toilet, and this nasty living arrangements there. And he laid out all night. He didn't get no more sleep, and the pain went from back to around his stomach area, he said. And by that time, he was urinating blood and couldn't hold no food down. And started to vomit a lot, and it just kept getting worse. And he asked also that day, he said, please take me back to medical or take me to the yard, it's getting worse. And he wouldn't get response. There's a box in your cell, one by the front entrance, the pod you could go to and press the button. But he mostly stayed in his rooms asking for help and pleading with them. He just knew something was going on. And finally, when somebody would get on there, they would tell him, oh, we're busy, we'll get to you, I'll give us a minute, we'll try to get you down there. And this went on all day, and he asked 5 or 6 times, man, easy. And they even got on there, and one time told him, you need to quit getting on this box so much, we're doing what we can. And
so you're dying, but don't bother us.
yeah. And that night, when that night around 4 a.m. or the next morning 4 a.m. got so bad, he just was moaning real loud and screaming, please help me, please God, please help me, somebody do something. And this went on, they opened the doors at 6 a.m. for breakfast, let us out. And we went to his room, and he couldn't get out of his bed. It was worse, and he had vomited, on the floor by his bed, and his bowel movements he couldn't control, urinated himself, and he wouldn't stop moaning. It'd get louder or go back to silent, little pains and everything. And then we started getting on the box, saying, you need to do something with this guy. I mean, he's suffering here. Do something. And it went same response. We'll get to him, and the guy came in when they brought the breakfast trays. We told the CO, go in there and look at him. He needs help now. The CO went in there and said, well, I'll see what I can do. Nothing went by. An hour or so later, another correctional officer comes in to do his rounds to count. We told him the same thing. Go in there and look at him. And by that time, we were all getting kind of frantic about this. You know, we're like, you really need to, we stressed it to him, this guy's dying or so. Because you could smell, I mean, the smell was coming out there like, I told you earlier, I've never smelled nothing like that. You know, and I can still remember how foul it was. And, you know, the correctional officer actually, he said, okay, but you guys don't settle down, lower your voices, I'm gonna lock you all down. That's what his response was. You know.
You don't ask somebody for help, or we'll punish you too.
Yeah. And, you know,
Ask for help for something.
we're not trying to cause riots or anything, you know, we're just trying to help a man, you know? No.
Was this an older guy, or?
Yeah, he's probably in his mid to late 50s. You know, just a little guy,
Yeah.
little skinny fellow, you know. And same thing went by. Every time the officers came in, hey, you gonna get him help? We're gonna get him help. And it's the same response. We're working on it. We'll get to him. This and that. And we went later that night and early in the morning. We didn't hear nothing, no moaning or anything like that. And when the doors opened at 6 a.m., we went to his cell and he had passed away. He was dead.
Oh. Should have one of those tombstones that says, "I told you so."
And when they came in, you know, we told them, hey, he passed away. And they came in, and we was all kind of standing there, you know. And we're like, you know, he needed help. I mean, you know, we was all like, why didn't y'all do something? And they locked. Well, they told us to go themselves. They locked us down. But you need to go yourself so we get him out of here. And, no remorse at all. I mean, you know, like, oh my gosh, they ran in there, and I said, they walked in there, and they're like, Mr. whatever his name was, and no response, he died. Took him out.
Was he there for some sort of major crime?
Yeah.
Or just normal run-of-the-mill?
Normal stuff, you know, no life sentences, you want to murder or nothing, or, you know. Nothing like that. You know, I don't think he was a bank robber, or, you know, just major Al Capone or anything.
Yeah. Ended up with a death sentence.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you telling me that story. And maybe we can get some attention focused on that as well.
I hope so. I mean, I've been in a lot of county jails, you know, before the regionals opened, and nothing I'm proud of, you know, but I've been in county jails, and I've been in different DOC prisons in this area, and I've never seen inmates treated like that. Never. I mean, I've seen other inmates, that's the only death I've personally seen, but I've been, you know, guys have been on the same pod with me, it took them forever to get care. I've seen a guy fall into a seizure, because they wouldn't let him go get it. They didn't take him to go get his insulin like 2 days in a row.
Yeah, I've seen that happen.
And he pleaded with them too. He said, I'm getting sick, I need my insulin, you know. And he falls out and goes into seizures in front of all of us. And all right, we'll get there. And they get in, go, calm down. You know, I mean, it's bad enough he has to go through that, but too, you know, we're all affected by it too. You know, we're human beings, I mean.
Yeah, I would think that, you know, possibly it might make you, you know, if you're watching that, feel vulnerable, you know, because now you know that if you get sick, there's no help coming.
Yeah, I mean, so they're gonna let me, am I next?
Yeah, and you know, then their biases come in. So, you know, was race a thing, was, you know, whatever.
Yeah. And there's been letters wrote before, people wrote letters to, you know, Charleston or wherever about the way inmates been treated. You know, I mean, there's been guys jumped and beat. One guy was paralyzed and he lay there for days before they took him and got him help. I heard, you know, another story about two brothers that are correctional officers at North Central Regional Jail beat a guy to death and they still have their jobs.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
No. And like I said, I've never seen nothing like it. Never. And I've been around inmates who've been, probably never see the light of day again. You know,
Yeah,
and really hardcore prisoners and everything, correctional officers didn't treat them.
yeah, I've seen those, you know.
Yeah,
And people that are like institutionalized and stuff, they just function better in jail.
yeah. Yeah, I would never want to see any human being treated like that. That's, you know. And hopefully these guys and stuff. I heard about the stuff going on in the Southern Regional Jail in Beckley. And I don't know how.
Yeah. But
All these deaths in 1 year. I mean,
the day after we did the press conference, I heard there were like 4 more overdoses there. So they can't figure out how the dope's getting in.
well, maybe we should check who's got fatter bank accounts.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
There's no work releases there. There's no inmates don't go out nowhere to court.
Yep. All right, man. Well, good. We'll work on this. We're gonna get it down to like maybe 3/4 of a page.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I'm glad I'm nervous wreck doing this.
Yeah.
But,
The same
I'm
way.
glad to. I'm happy I could do this, you know? Yeah, I even posted on my Facebook about what happened. I'm gonna get that out, you know? And,
Well, talking to somebody about that once. Yeah, it's just that finally being able to get some of that shit out and, you know, hopefully some of the fucking cops get what they deserve. I mean, there were, you know, like Cole Williams, I had one in Louisiana that, you know, the first day I got to kind of know him. I mean, he sat outside the cells, you know, and we just talked. It was one of those loud enough so everybody could hear what we were talking about.
yeah.
He was just a guy that the factory he was working at shut down, so he went to work for the county and, you know, just a job. He wasn't there to punish people. And, you know, he didn't get any shit from anybody that was an inmate there because
Yeah.
he wasn't an asshole.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I've seen some correctional officers actually, they're there to get a paycheck, you know, and especially like lifers, they understand that's their home right now, and that's just how it's going to be the rest of their lives. They don't try to interfere with what they do, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're not assholes to them, and they get much respect from them guys. You know, them inmates respect them, you know? I mean,
Yeah.
just, you go in there and you show, like a lot of them are there just to do their job, which, you know, they actually go by the book and how they're supposed to handle things. They don't wear a shield, badge like, okay, I'm this now. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And I noticed, you know, there was some I'd not mouth them off and buck the system and all that stuff, and then I never had no problems from them. Never. You know?
Right.
I mean, but then there was them assholes that, you know,
Yeah.
snort you off for no reason and not, I mean, at the regional.
Yeah.
Like I said, penitentiary wasn't like that. It just, you know, because this is the first time I've really went to a regional since I got out of Hutton'sville in the 90s.
Yeah.
And I was used to county jails and all that. But I went to this regional, I'm like, how am I getting away with this stuff? And, you know, they wouldn't survive anywhere else where, you know, acting like that.
Yeah.
You know, there's just a certain way you approach things. I know that in prisons they'll come in goon squads, whatever, you know, the common big fight out, whatever, but just how they talk to you and stuff is just disrespectful and, you know.
Yeah. I saw one in California come in to do count, walking down the middle aisle and just turned and looked at somebody, like almost noticed a nose, pulled a piece of cheese out from underneath his back and dropped it on the floor. That guy was like headed for the button. Get me out of here. I'm about to die.
Yeah. But then overdoses in Southern Regional, you know, things like, they have Narcan in the jail. They not responding fast enough, or,
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know. Well, that's what we're doing. You know, Poor People's Campaign was asking Joe Manchin at the federal level and Jim Justice at the state level to start investigations and see where they go. You know, because like what you're talking about, you know, did this guy suffer? Where were these other clowns? 'Cause that happened in California when I was out there. That the guy had like, I don't know, I know it's up here, it's a shunt. I don't know if it is in your arm, but you know, they basically had a port in
yeah.
so that they could hook him up for chemo or whatever. And it was during Super Bowl. That thing came out and he was bleeding all over the place and he kept yelling for help and they kept telling him to shut up and he finally just bled out.
Damn. Is it? I mean, he overdosed on the pod, you know. Like Gary Holstein, I told you guys, roommates was down Beckley, in that place I was at. His son died, either on the way to the regional or in the holding cell. He ain't got a population yet. He swallowed, threw all the dope down his throat.
Yeah.
He died. You know, maybe that was his lot, and he might have killed him quick, you know.
Yeah.
That fentanyl's crazy. Scary. Yeah.
Yeah. I was watching a couple of months. I don't even know why we care about that guy that's on trial in South Carolina. Said he killed his wife and his son, and he'd stolen a bunch of money from the law firm he worked for. I don't even know why anybody gives a shit about this guy, but the hell he said that was just reminded me of what you said, and then I forgot what it was. Fucking brain damaged.
I was thinking, if they overdose on the pods, I'm sure somebody's going to be yelling for help. They're not going to let him lay there and die.
Yeah.
And they know they'd take the risk of them being patted down before they let somebody lay there. Oh no, don't go for help, we'll get busted.
Yeah.
You know?